Hello and welcome to You Don't Know Her, the mindset podcast, all about creating the best future for yourself, one by design, not by default. And today I'm absolutely delighted to announce it to the show Lola Louise, the fantastic writer, actress, and musician as well, from the northeast of England, someone who I've drawn a lot of inspiration from her podcasting as well. But I've given you a little bit of an introduction there, Lola, but would you be able to talk in a little bit more detail about your background, kind of where you are at the moment, that kind of thing?
I don't even know where I am at the moment. I just sit mostly in my bedroom. But yeah, I have a background in performing arts,
Hmm.
gymnastics, but I was kind of self-taught and just multimedia. I would just bounce around and do like whatever I feel in the moment, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
I'm just crazy like that.
yeah. That's the thing. I mean, performing arts, that's something I was drawn to. In school, I was very big on music and drama, and my teachers would really try and push me into that to kind of fuel the creative fire, I suppose. And at the time, I didn't really do too much, but recently, I'm not an artist myself, but I do enjoy playing the guitar and songwriting as well. And I think it's such a good creative outlet. I've seen obviously you write your own stuff and you play as well. How do you find that for yourself from a creative point of view? Is that channel your emotions? Is that a good tool to write kind of how you're feeling? What's kind of the story for you?
Um, Sometimes I'll be sitting there and then suddenly there's the lyrics in my head and I'm
Mm.
like, what is this? And then there just ends up a song. Like
Yeah,
sometimes I'll just pick up the ukulele and I'll get some chords and then suddenly there's lyrics. I'm like, what is going on here?
yeah, yeah.
But I'm not really playing at the moment. I haven't
Mm.
really played anything for a while. I don't
Okay,
know. I'm just in a weird zone of life. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It comes and goes. I went to see a few years ago a band called Vampire Weekend. I don't know if you're
Mhm.
familiar with them, but I saw them in
I
Middlesbrough.
don't think
And
so.
no, they're quite big. They've got I'll have to send you a song called Punk. That's really fun. But they've got a song. I think it's called Harmony Hill. But it's the lead singer took 10 years to write it. He kind of wrote a bit of it and then sat on it for a while, and then when time felt right, he finished it off, and then it's my favorite song of theirs now. It's so nice, and and for them, yeah, it's for them. It's been huge for them, and that song and other songs that they've written around that time as well has really kind of catapulted them from this band from New York who probably I don't know, but they're basically just international now. So obviously they're coming over to things like Middlesbrough and all over the world as well. So yeah, from New York to Middlesbrough, it's probably not the most glamorous.
Yeah, I feel like I'm out of the loop with music. I just listen to like whatever my Alexa plays. I'm not trying to trigger her.
Oh,
She's right there.
I know I see a hush right down there. Yes, Lola, how can I help? It's definitely gonna one of those.
Literally, it's so annoying.
Yeah, the same thing. Mine randomly, I just sit there in silence, just watching the TV, and it just comes on like
So does
without any prompt.
mine.
Yeah,
It's weird. I don't get what. I'm just like, some morning she'll just randomly come on and tell us the weather, and I'm like,
yeah.
okay,
That's a lovely information to have, but I didn't really need it right now. Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. I also wanted to mention because you said about music sort of coming to you and ideas, and this is something I heard right at the start of my songwriting journey was Paul McCartney from the
Mhm.
Beatles, obviously. He said he keeps a pad of paper by his bed because he said he feels like he often gets his best ideas in the middle of the night and he'll wake up and need to
Yeah.
write them down. And his famous story was that he woke up one day and he just had the entire melody for the song Yesterday in his head.
Mhm.
And he went around. He went to John Lennon first and said, "Hi John, do you know this? Do you know this song?" And then he played it to him, or he hummed it to him, and he went. John goes, "No, I don't recognize that." He's like, "I don't think that's a song I know." And then he went around to loads of different people saying, "It must be a song that someone knows. I've heard this somewhere." And he asked so many people, and no one knew. But the only lyrics he had was he's going, "Scrambled eggs, my what a bunch of lovely legs," like all that sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
so he just changed the lyrics. That was in his head, and he just changed it to. He said, "I need a three-syllable word. What's a good three-syllable word? Okay, yesterday. Okay, what else is there? Suddenly." And that's what he wrote. He like wrote around
Yeah.
yesterday and then suddenly and yeah, it's yeah. So I think it's about letting letting inspiration hit you as well as much as anything? Whether, I mean, yourself, you're a writer as well, in the film world. Is that something that's true for you as well? Do you sometimes get ideas and think, okay, I'm just going to go with this and just see what happens?
Um, yeah, pretty much. Sometimes I just open a document and then write
Yeah.
anything and everything down. But
Mm,
I've got like loads of inspirations where things have come from because it's usually about some part of my life or something that I've seen, something
mm,
that I've heard, and that's
mm.
where it goes. Things I just find interesting as well. Like
Yeah.
I'm just naturally drawn to certain subjects, and then I'm like, yeah, this is a bad idea. Like sometimes I will sit there and my record is 60 pages in an hour.
That was
I'm
60
I'm
pages.
very I'm very fast at typing, like it's ridiculous.
Oh God. Yeah, there's no way. I couldn't type gibberish. I couldn't type gibberish of 60 pages for an hour. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Wow.
people have always noticed because like there was like times when I was getting my brows done and just like you're literally typing without looking at your phone. I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm used to it.
That is a skill. I've seen it. I've seen people in the wild do this. So when they're just looking up and they're just like the thumbs are just going like and I just thought, how's that possible? Like my
I
brain just
don't
doesn't work like that.
I've got no idea. It's just something like I could even do it now, like even
Yeah.
without my phone in my hand, it's over there and I'm just like, what
Well,
can you do?
this is the thing. You get given gifts in life, I think, and I think that's one of yours. You've obviously been given this ability to do that, so it's great that you've channeled it and you managed to write with it as well, and yeah, and just get
Yeah.
some ideas. But we've spoke a lot about writing. We spoke a lot about inspirations, and I've mentioned briefly your podcast, the Double L Show, that I'm a big fan of. It's yeah, it's a growing podcast. It's one. Is it on the back burner for you at the moment? Is it one you're not kind of recording at the moment?
Yeah, just because we've had to have a break from things
Mm,
after like May because things were getting too much and we'd not had a break. It had been so full on for a
mm,
long time, and
mm.
we're like, that's it, we'll need to take some time out.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how it was going. And we had interviews in the line, and then
Mm.
some people just never responded again, which was really sad.
Yeah.
And we were planning for this really good interview, and we never heard back from them again
Yeah.
after I sent an email. And I was like, no, because that would have been so good.
Yeah, yeah, it's a shame because you have these ideas of people that I've seen the Double L show and I've seen the kind of guests you get on, and it's clear that you love them all and you respect their careers and and
Mhm.
and, and those are the people you're going for. And it is a shame that sometimes the people you really admire, they don't have that kind of respect or they don't maybe get back to you and things like that. But I think it's all about knowing that there are people that can, because I've been in the same boat. I've reached out to quite a lot of people since I've started my podcast, and
Mhm.
some have kind of ignored me, some of this kind of thing, but some of them have taken the time out and come on the podcast and things like that. So yeah, I mean specifically the one I want to talk to you about the most is your interview with Bart Johnson from High School Musical,
Mhm.
who is. I mean, yeah, High School. He talks about this in the podcast. High School Musical became much bigger than they could have ever imagined.
Yeah.
It was a Disney original film, TV film. I wasn't it? It wasn't
Yeah.
probably expecting to get to the level where Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens had become two of the biggest movie stars in the world,
Mhm.
as a result of that film. And he obviously had a lot of respect for it, and he said he'd 100% love to do a reunion and to get everyone back on board. But yeah, so I just loved that film so much growing up, watching what they did, and yeah, knowing all the lyrics to all the songs, and just found it so funny. Was that true for yourself as well? Is it a film that you just kind of was a nice rainy day film for you and that kind of thing?
I used to watch it back to back all the time
Really?
on my little portable DVD player on my landing because I had to
Yeah.
plug it in somewhere. So I used to plug it in there and I would watch it.
Mm,
I'm pretty sure everyone knows my favorite character is Sharpay, like
mm.
forever.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go blonde as soon as I saw, but I was only a kid, so I
Yeah.
couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Blonde now, but yeah, I absolutely love Bart to bits. He
Mm.
still owes us a follow on social media. He
Oh,
promised and he still hasn't,
right.
despite I've literally been friendly with him since 2019 when I was just randomly tweeting out stuff. And then I don't know who replied to us. I don't know if I was having a conversation with someone and said I really wanted to work with him. And he said he would read my work, and I was like, no way, this is happening. Like, what? I'm like, no way. And then he DMs us, and I'm like, this is too weird. I'm like, this is not
Mm,
normal.
mm,
Like, it was really weird. And all my friends were ecstatic. They were like,
mm.
oh my God. And then he sent us videos giving us advice on writing and how to do a pitch and things like that. And it was just crazy. And
Yeah,
then I didn't really hear from him again, which I think it's because I constantly lose my accounts on that platform,
yeah,
Twitter, X.
yeah,
Like, I've had to change accounts like 5 times now. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I talked to him quite a bit, and like we just had like loads of banter over the years. And
yeah.
I was like, you know what, I'm gonna see if I can get back in touch with him.
Mm,
And I was like, let's have him on. And
mm,
yeah, he straight away said yeah. And
yeah.
I think he recognized who I was
Mm,
and stuff. So that was pretty interesting. And we're just having banter about like what he read years ago and how it's actually still going.
mm,
And yeah, it's just funny that it was an hour late though. Like it
mm,
honestly caused so much. We were just looking at like we'd been on the live stream, like
mm,
the Zoom call, me and Lee for like an hour and a bit, and we're
yeah.
like, oh, this is so bad.
Mm,
It
yeah.
was so bad. Trying to email LA as well. That's the
Mm,
problem. Like,
yeah. The time difference and yeah, it just yeah. It's yeah, there's so much you've said there that I want to get into, but specifically around Bart again, he's the fact that he is what he is and he's at the level he is in his career, that he is taking the time to offer advice to you. I think that's a show of character to him. He's obviously going to be a very busy man. He's got different projects, he's obviously got a full-time job that he's got to try and, do in a very acting is a very difficult profession, isn't it? So yeah, that speaks to the character for me, and I'd even apply the same to you. I've reached out to you as someone who, at the time of recording, I've only got a handful of subscribers, but we're going to see where it goes. But you've obviously you're further ahead in the journey than me at the moment, and you've got more of a fan base. So it's great to see that you've kind of taken the time to think, right, I can help this guy. I can see how I can help. So is that something that you've always had? Have you always thought? People, regardless of where they are at the journey, they are a person at the end of the day, and we've all got values we can help with each other.
yeah, this is the thing that I've learned over like everything and everyone I've spoke to, celebrity wise. They're
Mm,
just human.
mm,
And I used to like if I go back to 16-year-old me would literally be crying on the floor with
mm,
excitement.
mm,
And I just like now at this point where I'm really unfazed at this,
mm,
like it's gone. I'm not really as much of a fangirl
mm,
anymore. I just like have so much respect for them
mm,
and love them to bits. And
mm.
it just, I will never get over the fact though that I can't watch TV shows the same way because I'm like, I know that person. That person knows me.
Yeah,
And also being able to text people like that just that does not sit well with us at all.
yeah,
It's not normal.
yeah. Yeah, this is the thing. I've had this conversation with so many people saying, "Oh, I'd love to meet, so and so." But I've really thought, well, what would you say to them? And so two of my favorite comedians are these American guys called Jake Hurwitz and Amir Blumenfeld. They've got a massively successful podcast network over in America. And Jake Hurwitz talks about how his favorite band is Blink-182. And he said he happened to be at this ice hockey game and a member of Blink-182 happened to be sat next to him. And the whole game, he just said, I wanted to say to him, I love everything you've ever done. I wanted to fanboy over this guy basically, but he said he didn't. He said, all right, my guy, how's it going? Like that kind of thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's how he said this guy must just get this all the time. He must get people telling him that they love him because of his music, but really, he's a person at the end of the day, isn't he?
Yeah, that's like the important thing. From what I've seen, celebrities tend to interact with people who have normal conversations with them, whereas sometimes, honestly, some of the things I've seen through comment sections, like some of them were like held for review and like held for review in this little section on a live stream, and I was just like,
Mm.
what? The comments was something else, and I screenshotted it, sent it to my friend, and we were just like, we couldn't stop laughing. We were like, what is that? I,
Yeah.
like some people that take it really, really far.
Mm.
I was very scared, to be honest. Yeah. Some of the stuff, it's like, please hit me and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you speaking to people like that? They're like, you are my mother. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no wonder like people not getting engagement back because like even I would not. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
oh,
it is ridiculous. Like, yeah, I mean, there's certain celebrities you look at, and they've obviously experienced, especially in entertainment, experiencing such young experience and success at such a young age. Like, it can warp the view of the world, I think, and they kind of become blinded to it all, and that just becomes normal. But one of my favorite celebrities for how he handles the world and and people he engages with is Keanu Reeves. I don't know if you've ever seen like photos of him on the train or on the public subway in New York. He'll just be sat amongst everyone else. He'll just be in probably scruffy clothes and just doing his own thing and looking just an average, and people are just getting little photos and we're going, oh, it's Keanu Reeves. But he's happy to talk to anyone, like, and because
mhm,
he knows that everyone's got their own value, and he comes out as such a great guy when you see him on interviews. So yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about about different ideas behind people there as well, but
mhm,
we will bring it back to yourself, Lola, because you've got a few obviously different hats you wear. You've got Visionnet Media is your brand, isn't it? That's the YouTube, and then you've got yourself as Louise, the actress, and then you've got the Double L show as well. So what's kind of the next step for you, or is there a next step, or are you just kind of seeing how it's going? What's kind of the direction you're looking to go over the next kind of few years?
I don't know. What I've always wanted with Visionette is to help others because, as one of my projects, which actually spouted from, a lot of the industry is built on nepotism. It's who you know
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah.
And I don't think it's always a good thing.
Mm,
Like, that people have unfair advantages. And somehow there's like a whole stream. It's like, oh, this person's like related to this person now. And like, you're like,
mm,
what?
mm.
And I don't think it's right. And I would rather like, although technically it is nepotism if I help other people, I
Yeah.
guess. But
Mm. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's a
I
weird
don't
one, isn't
know.
it? But no, I think
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to say. I think there's so many amazing. I mean, I'll talk about music because that's more of a knowledge I've got than kind of acting and
Hmm.
uh, and and filmmaking. But music, I see so many talented artists, and some. I mean, there's a friend of the show called Lloyd Burgess who I'll be hopefully getting on, and he's got
Hmm.
this unbelievable song called "Drinking on Your Own." Which I think is fantastic. I think if someone like Ed Sheeran put it out, I would have hundreds of millions of streams and everyone would love it and people would hail it as one of Ed's, greatest pieces of work. But because it's not Ed Sheeran, because it's this guy that people probably haven't heard of, at the moment it's got something like 29 streams on YouTube.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's about this whole podcast is about the idea between it doesn't matter where you are if you've got the right vision and the right heart and you kind of have a passion. That's what I'm interested in people who understand what they want and they'll go for it. Does that kind of ring true with yourself as well?
Yeah, I've always kind of known what I've wanted, and it's weird because the way my life actually started was a camera being shoved in my face.
Mm,
So it's kind of like the literally the words I said the most as a kid. I want to see all the time because I wanted to see what the camera was. Like I didn't understand what it was. And like it just became natural to us. I always wanted to be on camera, and
yeah,
maybe it was meant to be, I guess, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's just a
yeah.
weird one, honestly. I
Mm,
have no idea what I'm doing half the time.
no,
Like,
no
I
one
just
does.
don't.
No one
I'm
knows
just
what they're
like
doing.
get so confused. Like, I've literally like taking a break was probably the best thing I've done because it just like I feel like everything's changed so much
Yeah.
in my life, and I feel like the industry's changed a lot and it still continues to change.
Mm,
And I don't know where I actually want to be. I'm
mm,
just exploring the paths of where and when I'll end up. I don't even know. Like, I can't really make a career out of it, which
yeah.
I've accepted now.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't
yeah,
mind.
it's just so difficult to make a career out of this kind of thing. But the important thing is your mindset around let's see what happens, because this was my issue a few years ago. I was always looking at the end goal and I was thinking, right, I'll do this and it'll get me towards this. Whereas recently my mindset has shifted to let's just enjoy this for what it is. Because at the moment, speaking to you right now, I genuinely think I'd be as happy doing this as I would be if I was Joe Rogan, for example, talking to, celebrities. It's the same thing. It's having a conversation. It's connecting with someone, isn't it?
Mhm.
But I do want to just let you know, Lola, that we are actually out of time already for this.
What?
Yeah, for this
No
first
way.
episode, it's been 20 minutes, which is what we like to do on this show. But you've been absolutely phenomenal, and I know there's more we can chat about. So if you're
Yeah.
happy to, we'll pick this back up and have another chat.
Yeah.
But for the time being, if people do want to find you, where can they find you? Where can the people be pointing towards?
Lola Maria, and it has two R's in Maria, because why not?
Because it'd be stupid not to, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll put the link to your socials and everything in the description box below. If people want to check that out, please do check out Lola. She's fantastic. Her Double L short is one of my favorites. It's a really fun
Thanks.
watch. So yeah, brilliant. I'll yeah, we'll catch you next time, Lola. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.